All right, so this is how I would mix for if I was a drummer. It's not that different from the bass line. I'm just turning up the drums. I'm turning off the click. A little too much reverb when I turned up the drums, so I turned the reverb off a little bit more. But I still liked it a little width, and yeah, I didn't really change anything else.
4, 2.
There you go, drummers. All right, this is how I would mix if I were to do a bass mix. You know, not that different than the bass line mix. I'm just turning up the bass and I'm turning up the click. It's really what I'm doing. I'm getting it to a good point, and then I'm taking myself and the click and I'm turning it up.
4, 2.
There you go, bassists. Okay, this is how I would mix if I'm playing an electric, and if you really want to get deep, this is how I'd actually mix myself. So, not that different. I'm just turning up, I like a little bit more drums, turn up the bass a little bit, but, you know, same thing. I just turn myself up, and then a lot of the click, because that's what I feel like I needed. There you go, electric guitarists. All right, this is how I would mix if I was a keyboard player. Again, so it's not a lot of different things. I'm turning up the electric a little bit because I want to hear what they're playing, but I still have myself plenty loud, and I have the click plenty loud. So there you go, keyboard players. Okay, so this is how I would mix if I was a vocalist. Now, vocalists, you guys have the hardest. Here's the truth. If you really believe you are the best vocalist ever and you're amazing, I would say you can use reverb on your voice, no problem. If you have any doubt that your pitch would swing or that you would sound kind of off tone, dial back the reverb. Here's why. When you hear reverb, it messes with how you hear pitch, and you actually start to hear a different pitch than what may be played, but you don't know until it's too late. Like, you don't know until you get off stage and everyone's like, so, you're right? And you're like, what do you mean? because it sounded really good in your ears because you had so much reverb. And what the reverb is doing is it's kind of slightly adding like a phase or a tuning to your pitch to make it seem like you're on, but it's not really actually translating well because you just happen to have yourself loud in your ears with a ton of reverb. So I'll leave you to make that decision for yourself. You decide. I actually think most of you can do it. I think most of you can pump the reverb and be just fine, because I think the truth is, with a good mix, you'll be able to hear the keys and you'll hear the electric guitar, so you'll hear the key of the song and you'll be fine. So don't be afraid to use 100% reverb. I do it all the time. I don't care. But I'm not a singer. So use your judgment. Be wise. If you're going to use a lot of reverb, be very confident in where your pitch is at. And if you're not confident, just take the reverb off, and you may sound dry. It won't sound amazing. That's okay. Just turn yourself down. It's better to be on pitch than it is to not be. All right, here's how I would mix if I was a vocalist. I'm going to pretend I'm a female vocalist, and I'm mixing. Sounds pretty good to me. And, here's the truth, vocalists. You guys can kind of pan however you want, but you saw, like, from my baseline mix, I ended up panning the vocals out a little bit more. And, our worship leaders talk about this all the time. It's really important to be able to hear the other vocalists and the parts they're singing. And so, although you do want to hear yourself, you do want to be able to hear the other two. Even though it may not be what you want to hear, and even though it may be off pitch, it's better that you guys hear each other and then talk about it afterwards and decide, okay, how do we get together, than it is to just like live in your own world and turn everybody else down. Because if you turn everybody else down, your mix is going to just end up sounding like the first mix, and you don't want that. You want the really strong in the room feel. And I know you want that because you guys always end up taking out one of your ears. So no more taking out your ears. Mix good. Use reverb if you like it. And if you don't. Thanks, guys.